Welcome to today's episode of the Gulf Coast Growth Show. Chad Burke, president of the Economic Alliance Houston Port Region, filling in for Jason and Zeke, our two normal hosts. And here today with our guest, David Ellis, president of Packwell, local company that we want to learn about, kind of dive into all the neat things that Packwell does here in our industry and how they fit into the ecosystem of what we do here. So, David, thank you very much for coming on. I love what you do. I love the business. It's got a great story and everything. But first, I'd like to introduce you and your career to our listeners, and kind of so take us through kind of the evolution of where you started from. I know you went to the Merchant Marine Academy, which is really cool. Kind of start with that, and then just bring us up to where you are and how you ended up at Packwell, because I think it's a fascinating story.
Well, thanks for having me on and giving me a chance to talk about my favorite topic myself. Graduated the Merchant Marine Academy. Like a lot of us in Houston, we start out in oil and gas, and that's what I did. Right, mm-hmm. So I worked for Amoco Oil for 8 years. Pretty much worked in the crude side, and then transitioned basically downstream over the course of the career, and leave Amoco around 96 and start working for vendors. Right, I start working for Greek shipping companies, Norwegian shipping companies. So I've been intimately involved with the Houston, Texas City maritime community essentially since I was 22 years old. Mm-hmm.
I like the way you had said before we were chatting, and you said I kind of started at the wellhead and have come all the way down to the...
Yeah, by the time I get to Packwell, I've gone all the way to polymer.
Yeah,
right? So I'm not really sure what's after this, injection molding or what, but so I don't really know what's next.
Finished products, right? Yeah.
Exactly. So, so been in Texas for since 96. My children say they're from Texas and I'm from Chicago. So one day maybe I'll qualify.
Get in the club. I like that. Okay. Very good. Very good. So walk us through a little bit how especially maybe the last 10 years pre-COVID, and then how you ended up at Packwell.
Sure. Yeah. So working for a Norwegian company, Oddfell, big participant in the shipping market, one of the largest chemical tanker owners in the world. Global terminal operator, and that's where I was running their global terminal operations, and including the facility over in the Port Road that's adjacent to Bayport. And so it was great to kind of, having been there in Bayport during that time, I had kind of a front row seat to watch the port develop that facility. And this is going back to actually just putting the land together, right? And watching, peers inside the port organization kind of fleet up through the port organization to eventually, to the top job. But I guess the surprising thing when I look back is to see that particular facility unfold pretty much the way they said it would.
Yeah.
Right. And it's just been a remarkable story. And, anybody who takes the tour of the port, gets pretty excited. Yeah. If you like that kind of thing.
No, I'm kind of a geek right there with you. It's to see that. And I grew up in the area and saw that the Bayport Cut before it was ever developed. And then to have, someone like you to kind of see it and work there, to watch it unfold to what it is now with, I think they're working towards 7 full berths, right? With kind of, continuous growth and evolution there. It's a phenomenal facility now, born out of, just a quiet little piece of land there. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Right. Excellent. So, post-COVID, you ended up with, you kind of made your way to Packwell, or they made their way to you, I think.
Well,
right?
So I was working for another shipping company up in New York. We sold the company, and I moved back to Texas. Midstream asset sales are taking off, and so I just kind of fall back in to what I was doing on the terminal side down on the Port Road, and ran into Al Duran, right? And he tells me about this project that he has in Bayport. It's a 700,000 square foot a warehouse that he wants to construct to package resin. And I see immediately the value of this. And and I was thinking, well, I know the area intimately. This is going to be the best solution for resin packaging, which actually is so important to our economy. It's like so many things in the oil and gas. It's a small part and a critical piece of what we do. And supporting the local economy and the country's economy.
Tell us a little bit about the kind of the what I think is a very cool story about him and Packwell.
Well, I mean, it's every American story that you've heard, right? Immigrant coming in, young man.
Love that.
Comes here in the mid late 80s, 86, and literally bootstraps this operation. He has a small contract to package resin, right? And he needs to find somebody to help him, rent a warehouse. He manages to find that one partner, right? And from there, basically starts building out more and more real estate and acquiring. He'll start working, doing projects overseas, like Middle East and China. But he's actually pulled back and he's looking at the Texas market, specifically the Houston market, and has deployed, tons of capital here, employing, soon to be 300 people. In the local market.
And that's impressive.
Yeah. I mean, everything when I came to join Packwell was really about just how impressive this operation is, right? We hire a lot of general labor, right? Yeah. So we're forklift operators and machine operators and things like that. But the retention rate is near 95%. And it's just, there's so many pluses to this organization. I'm really, that's proud to be associated.
Yeah, that's an impressive number because competition for forklift and warehouse talent is this is probably the mecca for that, right? I mean, so the fact that you're able to keep 90, your retention is at 95% tells me something about the company, the culture, the way that they enjoy working for Packwell. So that's a nice reflection on you and the company, I think.
Well, also, I mean, the thing that we have to, if you're going to work in this industry, particularly in midstream, you have to realize is that in many cases we're the first step, kind of an entry level for a lot of the people that go on to positions inside the processing industry, as well, right?
Yeah,
so you may start as a forklift operator and then become a lab tech, and then you'll be an operator on one of the machinery or something like that, and the next thing you know, you're in the control room at one of the facilities here on 225.
That's kind of the evolution. I don't know, audience. I don't know if you just heard that, but that is a very accurate depiction of the evolution of kind of workforce in this region. So yeah, it's a critical piece. I love that. So while we're talking about people and Packwell, I'm going to jump over to another topic real quick. Tell us a little bit about the safety and safety culture and maybe some of the awards that y'all have won recently.
So milestones are everything safety. So rotating, one of the reasons I like working at Packwell is all about rotating machinery. And if you like rotating machinery, right, so you're in the right place. But, a TRIR of 0 for 2 years in a row is an important milestone for us. And so we were recently recognized for hitting that milestone. But, there's a lot of lessons on safety. Safety really isn't about statistics; it's about culture, right? And if you're just looking at your safety statistics, you're probably missing the larger point, if you will. And that's what I really like about the organization, right? They spend a lot of time. Everybody's walking through, and I mean everybody walking through Packwell. It's from the frontline supervisors to the chairman. Everybody's going through that facility. Everybody's looking at something.
Everybody's looking for something.
Everybody has a responsibility and accountability.
The right and the ability and the responsibility to report things.
And stop.
Yeah, exactly.
And stop.
You're right. It's culture and it's a mindset. And once you get that kind of ingrained in your people, you get the results that you've had, which is really, really admirable. So I love this conversation. I love the history and kind of the evolution of it. So let's back up at 30,000 feet. Tell our audience a little bit about what Packwell does. Okay, so tell them what you bring in, what you do to it, and what you ship it out. And we'll talk a little bit about kind of how you get that to where it's going.
Like I said earlier, kind of an important piece to the whole equation, if you will. In its essence, we are a packaging, warehousing operation, right? So our customers, which include many of the polyethylene producers, polyethylene distributors, traders, if you will take rail cars, ship them to us on our partners in the rail networks. We will basically pull that resin off, vacuum it off.
Yep.
And then
giant vacuum tubes,
giant
top of the
put it
rail
up
cars.
Yep.
Or take it off the either
Take
one.
it off the rail car,
Yep.
put it up on a silo,
Yep.
and then that silo will feed a form, fill, and seal machine.
And we're talking about the tiny resin
The
pellets.
tiny little pellets that
Yep.
look like BBs, if
Yep.
you will.
Yep.
So we'll put it in a form, fill, seal machine, and then put it into 25 kg bags.
Yeah.
And then those are palletized, and then wrapped, and then we stuff them in containers, and then the containers are basically sent for export.
How many of those bags go in a pallet? Do you know?
55 to 60.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then each pallet weighs approximately
3,000 pounds.
There you go.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
And you're taking those pellets or resins from specific manufacturers here up and down the Houston Ship Channel.
Absolutely.
Right? And the bags probably have the names on it, right? I mean, you've probably got
yes.
Dow and Exxon and LyondellBasell and all of our
very
members.
much a who's who.
Yeah. It's a lot of it's really integrated, kind of from manufacturing to processing to then the shipping out.
Sure.
So it's a nice cross section of a lot of our members, and kind of one of the critical kind of production pieces that come out of the Port of Houston that goes into everything from water bottles to cell phones to my glasses to our jackets and all the different things that plastics touch every day, right?
Yeah. So 47% of polyethylene is exported, right? So we're the more or less the last mile, if you will. So an important part, but also when you think about the Port of Houston and their import position, it's actually quite important to repatriate these containers.
Yeah,
right? It's actually
exactly.
So we actually have an important role to play.
That's probably the official word: repatriate these containers. But you're right. Right, we ship out a lot of product, more than any other port in the country,
Absolutely.
right? But then those containers come back to us with those goods that are finished, and then we turn around and refill them and send them back out.
So very much a kind of a virtuous cycle.
It is. Yeah. So talk to us about once you palletize them and put them in a container. I'm a supply chain kind of shipping nerd. Tell us a little bit about who takes, your docks, your processing. You probably out the back door go all the pallets into the containers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who is taking those containers? How do you? Are they your trucks? Are you contracting? Are you?
Well,
how does that work?
So we have a sister
to get it to the port,
right? Thank you. So we have a sister company that can do some of it, but largely we're partnering with the freight forwarders and the trucking companies.
Yeah.
And I guess that's what I like about the whole, the industry is that this generates quite a bit of work for everybody.
Yeah.
Right.
So you're giving it off to different companies, basically.
Absolutely.
The trucking companies, the freight forwarders that are taking that, and then their role is kind of the next mile, right?
Absolutely.
And then they'll take it down to Bayport or Barber's Cut Terminal,
exactly.
and where y'all are located, probably most of it goes right there to Bayport. And then they hand it off to the ILA on the docks, and
Absolutely.
and onto the ships they go, and around the world, right?
Absolutely.
Very good, very good. Well, it's like I said, it's a critical piece of what we do here. It's one of the biggest things we do. We like to talk about it, the impact that these resins and polymers make on the quality of life around the entire world. And y'all are a critical piece of that kind of chain of value that goes across. So let me jump to maybe some big news that y'all might have coming up. I mean, I guess we talked a little bit about the safety, right?
Well, yeah. So we talked about safety, but we'll actually start commissioning our new facility on October 1st. Right. Nice. So we're pretty excited about that. We've all the packaging equipment is in, and we're pickling the systems and getting everything ready for that. So we're actually very, very excited.
I think we need to set up a tour and get some of our members out there to peek inside.
I will tell you that it's something to see.
It really is.
I have to say, it really is something to see. This facility, is, how shall we say, it is perfectly sited, and I give the Packwell leadership team a lot of credit because they use a lot of innovation in developing this facility. And I say this even from the capital structure and the finance side, because they actually partnered with the Export-Import Bank to finance this facility, and we received the I guess it was the 2024 Export-Import Bank Deal of the Year as a right for this, for basically facilitating the export position of American products, if you will. So everybody involved in this project, and I would say everybody in the organization, has kind of touched the ball, so to speak, and has basically done something that is remarkable and noteworthy.
Well, it is, and a lot of people aren't familiar with Ex-Im Bank, but it was over the years, really probably the last 8 years at least, maybe going back a decade now. We had priorities in our DC white paper to really kind of work through some of the issues that Ex-Im Bank was working through, whether they needed appointments to their board so that they could approve deals, or there was a lot of different things on our white paper in DC. So we became very familiar with what Ex-Im Bank can do for companies trying to get American products overseas. So that's kind of neat that y'all use that, and then not only used it but got the deal of the year.
Well, it was also new for Ex-Im Bank, right? They never kind of facilitated what was essentially a real estate transaction to basically push American products out into the international market.
Yeah. A little known kind of nice. One of the very few, I shouldn't say that, but one of the effective things that our government can do to help business. Yeah. I'll just leave it at that.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. So along those lines, in your growth, give us a peek into kind of where you see this region right now, and kind of what you think maybe the next 5 years will look like as far as kind of growth, or our opportunities to continue. Because we've seen unprecedented growth, right, for 15 years now, ever since the shale revolution, right?
Sure.
So what's your forecast, if we can look into David's?
So I'm hanging my hat on the next 5 years, so to speak. But so goes ethylene cracker expansion. So goes our business. Yeah. So there've been a lot of projects that have been announced. They're being studied, and everybody, not just Packwell, but our aspect of my peers as well. We're all waiting to see those announcements. When those facilities, like the CP Chem facility in Beaumont, when those come up, that drives a lot of warehouse construction. So it's this is kind of a capital multiplier. I don't know the exact numbers of it, but if CP Chem's building, my guess is that we'll still see other projects receive final investment decision. We're seeing a rationalization of capacity and shutdown of ethylene capacity in Europe and in Asia. Yes. So that's going on. So that's constructive for us. And we are, many of the listeners will have heard, we are the best positioned for this. And so like everybody else, we're all waiting for our customers to make that last investment decision. Yeah. So we're actually very, very excited for it. We so much so that is when Packwell looks at our own deal pipeline, we're actually looking at other regions. So we need to look at Dallas-Fort Worth, and we need to be looking to the Southeast, basically to create different avenues and channels to facilitate the export position of these facilities here on the Gulf Coast. Yeah.
I like the way you said that about our. We still have an advantage position, right, globally, and when you read and hear and see facilities in Europe and other parts of the world that are contracting and possibly closing, for a decade or more, you saw that happen and basically reposition that production to meet global demand here along the Texas Gulf Coast, and specifically here in Houston. We're kind of the heart of it. So it's we try to keep an eye on that and are always very happy to kind of land new capital investments. That's our role here at the Economic Alliance. So we're always looking forward to capturing new capital into the ground, which drives jobs and expansion and all across the whole kind of economic spectrum there.
Sure.
So, very good. A couple of closing questions that I think everybody would enjoy hearing from you. So what what are maybe 3 different contributing factors that have led to your professional success? I mean, everybody's got, what's the secret sauce for David Ellis?
There is no secret sauce. I think I don't know if I could limit it to 3, but it's certainly, luck, right, plays a
Right
large
place,
role.
right time. Yeah.
Luck, mentorship.
A lot of that comes from putting yourself in the right place at the right time. So I think you've probably done that.
But mentorship as well, right?
Mentorship is
I have been very fortunate in my mentorship and my colleagues. So I've always had kind of the right people around me.
Yeah.
You kind of box
So
me in.
important. Yeah.
But on top of all of this relies, of course, is your family.
Yeah.
Right. And so if honestly, if it wasn't for my wife and my daughters, I would pretty much probably be a quite different person. I'm sure.
Understood. I think a lot of us could say the same thing.
Right.
So
Right.
very good. Very good. Well, I think, and so you mentioned family, obviously a lot of gratitude towards family. I think that paints a really good picture of who David is and the history of Packwell and what y'all are doing for the region. Anything else that you want to kind of let our listeners know about you or the business or the region?
No, I'd just like to say that we're quite thankful for all the stakeholders help us Packwell develop this project, right? And that's from the state, the port, the county, Exim Bank, everybody that came together to help us to get this done. And I'd also like to thank you for having me on. And I would say I am very much looking forward to your conference on September 18th. It's one of my favorite conferences of the year, and it looks like to be another good one. So I look forward to seeing that.
Yeah, we're very excited about it. Maricela, our events coordinator, came to me yesterday and she said, we've surpassed all of our numbers and attendance and everything from last year. So it's going to be a fantastic event. Lots of great speakers all day long. So
great.
Should be interesting. And we'll be probing them about where we're going next and what our challenges and opportunities are as we continue to grow. So. Well, David, I really appreciate it. Thank you for the time. Just a phenomenal company. Like I said, a piece of the puzzle around here that makes things go and really makes things around the world go if you're really looking at the big picture. So thank you for what you do. Thanks for being part of this. And we'll wrap it up with that. But until next time, we'll see everybody on the next edition of the Gulf Coast Growth Show. Thanks.
Thank you.